Hi everybody, it's Miss Dani with you and welcome to another video lesson. Today we're gonna finally dig into writing itself. We will start with introduction first, and in this video I will explain step by step, structure by structure per se, how you can write a very good, decent introduction. So let's get started. Let me talk to you through the goals of the introduction, why we need this, why we need to pay attention to this, and why we need to write a decent intro. The main goal is that it introduces the essay, right? Lets the reader know the major topic and answers the essay question, which is the most important thing. Also, it gives the examiner the very first impression of you, right, of your writing. So you better write a good intro. You better learn to write a good intro. So remember these three goals, especially the last one, to answer the essay question, which a lot of students don't really follow. And I'm going to show you both good examples and bad examples and what you can avoid later on. So we're going to focus on discussion essay in particular in this video, and you will work on discussion essay at home. Okay, let me talk about the introduction structure. Intro should have 2 sentences, maximum 3, but I don't know. I think you can fit your ideas, you can fit your intro into 2 sentences, which will make your essay both concise and clear. So I would really advise you to have only 2 sentences. The first one is the paraphrase of the topic. It can also be a background statement introducing the topic. So most importantly, it has to introduce the main topic, the specific both the general topic and the specific topic. And the second sentence is called thesis statement, or an outline, as some people may call it, thesis or outline, okay? And this is where you answer the question itself. So you present your position, you present your own arguments, your own opinion. Let's take a look at this essay topic as an example that we started in the previous video. Some people believe that the arts should receive subsidies or sponsorship from the government and big companies. Others feel such spending is a luxury and that it would be better if it were invested in scientific projects. Discuss both views and give you an opinion. So let's take a look. Step 1 is obviously paraphrasing or thinking about some background statements for the topic. Both work well, but I would say the easier one would be to just paraphrase it, because it's really sometimes can get difficult to think of some background statements. So you can go to some redundant sentences instead. So in order to avoid that, we're going to focus on paraphrasing. How you can paraphrase, please write this down. There are 3 major ways. First is by just simply using synonyms, which doesn't work all the time. All right, so you need to do more than that. You need to think of some other ways of paraphrasing, which include by changing the sentence structure or the parts of speech, right? If it's a noun that you're given, then change it to a verb. Change adjectives to adverbs, active voice to passive voice, etc. So kind of play with grammatical structures instead. And the third way, which I will illustrate today, is using the standard structures specifically for discussion essay. So I was thinking how we can make it easier for you guys to write introductions, because a lot of you may spend too much time on it because it's always difficult to get started, right? So you're always stuck in there, like, how should I paraphrase? Oh, this sounds good, but no, this doesn't sound very nice, and it's gonna waste your time. Okay, so let's take a look. Disclaimer, some words, I'm talking about synonyms, some words don't have any appropriate synonyms whatsoever. For instance, think about the arts and science. Can you think of any synonyms for these 2 that would not go off topic, that would not be, inappropriate in a sense? So there are no appropriate synonyms for these. And word repetition, this is a very important thing. Word repetition, which you are all scared of, is sometimes better, usually better than word choice mistakes. Okay? So instead of using some inappropriate synonyms, if you just repeat that word, it's going to give you better score, let's say. So let's talk about this topic then. I'm going to show you the standard structure, and I want you to get your copybooks, pens and pencils, and write this down with me. Okay, so the standard structure for discussion essays only looks like this. You start with, so this is how you start your introduction basically, and it applies to basically all discussion essays, okay? First thing is there is an ongoing debate over, or there is an ongoing debate regarding something. So this is the first thing that you write in your intro. Please write it down, okay? This is for discussion essay only. The second thing is you either choose which, who, where, how, whether, depending on the essay topic that you have. I will show you examples, don't worry. Plus a clause. Clause meaning subject of the debate, okay? Followed by a verb usually. In some maybe modified forms of it. But anyway, clause means subject plus verb. Usually, okay? Identify the subject of the debate. What is the topic? We identified the general and specific topic of the essay question that I just shown you. If you remember in the previous video, it was the arts versus science and which should be funded, right? And with plus verb ing sentence structure. I will show you an example and you'll understand what I mean by that. The last part is kind of optional, so you may want to skip that and instead go to the thesis statement straight ahead. So let's take a look. This is example, wait. Yeah, okay, so this part is kind of optional. So let's identify the debate over here. The debate is which fields, either the arts or science, right, scientific projects, should be funded. So what we're going to do is, let's take a look at the example number 1. There is an ongoing debate over or regarding, whatever you choose, regarding which fields should be funded by the government and big companies, with some people arguing for the arts and others supporting science. What we did here, you can also, by the way, paraphrase government and big companies like by the authorities, if you remember from the previous video, and instead of big companies, just put maybe some private corporations, but it's not very necessary. Or large corporations, right, instead of big. It's not necessary, but yeah, if you can, do it. Okay, wherever you can have some appropriate synonyms, why not to use them? So, this is an example. You start with there is an ongoing debate regarding, and then you put, if you remember, which, who, where, how, whether, depending on the topic, as I said. So the topic here, the debate here is which fields should be funded. So I put which fields should be funded, and then by the government and big companies. And then I told you with plus verb ing sentence structure, with some people arguing for the arts and others supporting science. Let me explain this, okay? Especially the with part. So it's essentially just putting it this way. There is an ongoing debate regarding which fields should be funded by the government and big companies. Some people argue for the arts and others support science. So what we did here is we changed and replaced it with, and then we changed the main verb. Okay, so the main verb here is argue. We changed it, added ing over here, and it has become arguing, supporting science. That's basically what we did, right? So we add with, we add the subject, we add the main verb, and ing right in there. Pause the video and try to consume this idea, okay? Try to understand this idea better, the structure better. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to show you another example on how we can use this structure. Some believe that students should begin learning a language very early in school, while others think these subjects should be taught later. Discuss both sides and give your own opinion. Let's take a look. There's an ongoing debate regarding or over when. So where the debate here is when to study languages, when to learn languages at school. Is it very early in school? By the way, you need to analyze the essay topic first in order to write a good introduction. You remember the steps in writing task 2, right? We discussed them in detail in the previous video. So you need to analyze the essay prompt very clearly, you need to understand it very clearly, and you need to understand what's the debate here. So it's learning languages very early in school versus later in school. So regarding when languages should be taught, I kind of paraphrase it here, from active voice to passive voice, should be taught to children, with some saying early school years are best, and others arguing for teaching languages later. Here you may ask, why don't we have the article the, right, before best? Because the articles are not necessary if we don't have any nouns afterwards. So our best works here because we don't have a noun after best. Okay, so the debate here is when to learn languages, and that's why we changed which fields to when. Okay, when languages should be taught. And we also changed the active voice, like students should begin learning, to languages should be taught. Okay, so learn, it's what students do. Teach, it's what teachers do. So when you change active voice to passive voice, you also need to work with vocab a bit, right? Sometimes, depending on the context, of course. So learn, teach. Okay. Let's take a look at another example together. As the number of cars increases, more money has to be spent on road systems. Some people think the government should pay for this. Others think that drivers should cover the costs. Discuss both sides and give your own opinion. Pause the video and think about it. What's the debate? And which word we use here instead of which or when? Okay, think about it. All right, let's discuss it now. So here the debate is who, right? Who should pay for road systems? Is it the government versus drivers? Okay, is it the government or the drivers? Government, drivers, who should pay for road systems? So this is what we're going to do. There is an ongoing debate over who should be responsible for improving roads or for maybe working on roads, right? Working on roads that doesn't sound very good. Responsible for maybe funding road systems. Funding, yeah. That sounds better because we're talking about money, right? Funding or allocating may not work here. So yeah, funding road systems, let's put it that way, with some thinking it is the government's job and others arguing that drivers should pay for this. I love it. So instead of whether or which, we added who, and afterwards with some, you can also add people there, with some people thinking or believing or arguing or saying it's the government's job and others arguing that drivers should pay for this. The way I want you to approach this is, try to, you read the question and don't focus on the paraphrasing itself. Don't focus on the structure itself. Focus on how you can write the same thing with your own words, okay? How you can interpret it on your own. This is a better way of thinking. This is a better way of approaching this. Okay, let's take a look at, I believe, the last example. Some people say that television is useful for education, while others say it is useful only for entertainment. Discuss both views and give you an opinion. Okay, pause the video and think. What is the debate? Okay, and think how you would write your introduction. I kind of give you a hint there. So regarding, I put whether. So you need to work with whether, and I will explain how you can work with it. Okay, the debate here is that whether television should be used in educational practices, should be used for education. Okay, so this is essentially what we're going to do. There is an ongoing debate regarding whether television should be used for educational purposes. Whether, the way it works is when you don't have any question words, like who, when, which, how, right? When you don't have any question words like that, when your essay question doesn't ask for some specific questions, right? It asks for yes or no questions, then you will use whether. It's very similar to reported speech rules, if you guys are aware of those. So in reported statements, reported questions, yes or no questions, you would change the direct speech into indirect speech using the word whether, right? So here's what we are doing, basically. Whether plus has to be a clause, right? Subject plus verb. So whether television should be used for educational purposes. You can also add there. So as I mentioned earlier, with part is optional. So you may add or you may not. If we added it here, I don't think it's necessary though. For educational purposes, with some arguing that it's solely for entertainment and others, I don't think it's necessary though. So I would skip the with part at all. And you need to think of it this way as well. So if you need to add with part, of course, add it. But sometimes, it's just redundant. It's not necessary. Okay, now you try. Some people believe that children of all ages should have extra responsibilities, for instance, helping at home or at work. Others believe that outside school children should be free to enjoy their lives. Discuss both views and give you an opinion. Pause the video. Here I left you a hint regarding how. So I want you to use the word how. Or if you don't want to use it, if you have if you have your own way of dealing with it, deal with it your own way. Okay? Pause the video and think about it. Let me drink some water while you're thinking. Okay. I really hope you thought through this. Let's discuss it. The debate here is that how children should spend their free time, or whether children should have extra responsibilities, basically. Let's take a look at what I wrote. There's an ongoing debate regarding how children should spend their spare time, with some believing this time should be allocated for other duties and others arguing that children should decide this for themselves. Okay? Yeah, sounds good. Works very well, I assume. Okay, here is a bad example, and this is what I notice all the time. Students tend to start with the word nowadays and just simply paraphrase the essay topic with some bad synonyms, with some inappropriate synonyms. Let's take a look at this. Some people think that money is the best gift to give to young people, while others think other types of gifts are better for young people. Discuss both views and give you an opinion. Okay. Nowadays, one group of people believe that cash is the best type of present for young people, while on the other hand, others believe that different types of presents are actually better. You see what's wrong here? Cash is not the right synonym for money. Cash is only one type of money. We also have credit cards. We also have online payment, right? So it doesn't work here. Also, yeah, what the person did just basically paraphrase it with a bunch of synonyms, which... I don't know, sounds weak to me. Okay, step number 2. We've looked through some good examples and bad examples for the very first sentence in your introduction paragraph of your essay, basically. Now, let's take a look at the second sentence, which is, as I called it, thesis statement. Okay, so this is step number 2. Thesis statement must be specific, answer the question clearly, be short and concise. So you need to formulate your arguments in one short sentence. Okay, let's take a look. This is the structure that you can use in discussion essays. So you start with either of these two. You write what you don't agree with first. Okay, the side, the view, the position you don't agree with in discussion essay. Add the phrase, in my opinion, to show that this is your position, that this is your opinion, and you're answering the question, right? The question says, discuss both views and give your own opinion. So this is my opinion. Take a look. In my opinion. You put comma on both sides of the phrase, in my opinion. You continue with the words since, because, as. Choose one out of 3, okay, in order to give the reason, give your arguments, and you provide your arguments shortly. So, if you prefer it this way as a list, here's as a list, okay? Let's take a look at the example. So, to the very first discussion essay topic that we started talking about. Some people believe that the arts should receive sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. Others believe that it's scientific projects. So, let's take a look. While some believe that funding the arts is essential for entertainment, in my opinion, science is more deserving because its impact on the planet is more valuable in the long run. Okay, this is what you can do. By the way, this works best when you skipped with part in your first sentence. So you remember, I told you can skip this with part, right? With some people arguing and others supporting science. You can skip this. There's an ongoing debate regarding which fields should be funded by the government and big companies. You can stop here and then you write your thesis statement that way. So while some believe blah, blah, blah. Because if you stick to this, then that thesis statement may not work because you're going to repeat yourself, right? You already wrote that some people argue for the arts, and that will be a little repetitive there. So maybe a good idea would be to skip this part. I just showed you this part so that you can get some idea, okay, around with structure. But once again, you can skip it. It's okay. It's even better in this case. Yeah. Let's take a look once again. While shows the contrast. While and although are contrasting cohesive devices. So when you use them, you illustrate contrast. And very important, guys, while and although don't work only with one sentence. No, with one clause. Only with one subject and one verb. A typical mistake that I notice in my students is that they write while or although and then only one clause, one subject, one verb. So they stop somewhere here. So this is their full sentence, which cannot be, okay? Because while and although can be used only when you have two clauses, when you have two subjects and two verbs. Please remember this. I'm going to say it again. With while and although, you're going to need only, not one, but two subjects and two verbs. This is how they work, okay? So subject number one is some. Okay, subject number one is some. Who is doing the action? Some. Verb number one is believe. And then we have some commas over there. And then we have the second subject, science. And the second verb is. You cannot stop here. You cannot stop here. You have to continue and you have to have another subject and a verb. I hope I made it clear. Please don't make this mistake, okay? I'm just so freaking tired of this mistake over and over again. All right. Another way of dealing with this, by the way, is put in my opinion first. In my opinion, to show that, hey, look, this is the thesis statement. Hey, look, this is my position. This is my opinion, okay? You can start there and then write while, for instance. Let's take a look at this. As the number of cars increases, more money has to be spent on road systems. Some people think the government should pay for this. Others think that drivers should cover the costs. Try to write your own thesis statement. Now, pause the video and think about it. Think about your arguments first. Think about ideas first. Why should government pay for this? Why? And why should drivers pay for this? You think of arguments, you plan, you generate ideas, you plan your essay, and if you don't have any ideas, you go to Google or ChatGPT, you look for ideas there, you come up with ideas, write them down, and shorten them into one or two phrases, and then put them in your thesis statement. So this is what we do, okay, essentially. Now let's take a look at my version. In my opinion, while bicycles have certain benefits, cars still remain a more effective way to travel around cities as they are safer and convenient. Okay? And instead of just leaving it as have certain benefits, you may also write such as, and then write the benefits of oh, by the way, this is another topic. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I confused the topics here. This thesis statement over here is for cars versus bicycles. But it's okay. I mean, we can do basically the same thing for this essay topic. Let's think through this. So why should government pay for this? Because this is, we could say that the road systems can be paid from taxes, right? So we pay government taxes as, citizens, and they can allocate those taxes for road systems. Why should drivers cover these costs? Because probably, that drivers would be more responsible with road systems if they pay for them themselves. Okay, that could be another reason a reason for why should drivers cover the costs. Even if you don't agree with the fact that with the opinion that drivers should cover the cost, you still need to discuss this because this is a discussion essay. Okay? This thesis statement is very good, but yeah, once again, I'm so sorry. It covers bicycles versus cars debate. I don't know why I put it here. Maybe I confused the essay topics. Okay, never mind. Let's go through example number 3. Some people say that television is useful for education, while others say it is useful only for entertainment. Discuss both views and give you an opinion. You can start with in my opinion. You can start with while, although. Pause the video and deal with it on your own. And let me show you an example. While excessive television consumption, this is a very nice vocab here, you can write it down, can be seen as a distraction from more productive activities. In my opinion, educational programs play a crucial role in enhancing children's intellectual development. This is a Band 8 8.5 intro. Okay, so the introduction examples that I was showing you earlier, they are for approximately Band 7 in terms of vocab and in terms of vocab, essentially. So in this case, we have some Band 8, very good, very sophisticated vocabulary that you can write on your copybooks and use them later on in your own essays. Okay? So basically that's it. By the way, some people ask me, can I use I believe, I argue, I deem that instead of in my opinion? You can, but I used to do that a lot, by the way. But when I started working with an examiner, with an Ielts examiner, he mentioned that this is not a very good idea. So instead of I think, I deem, I believe, you should write in my opinion. So in academic essays, the words I, you, we, you is like red flag, okay, in academic essays. Never ever use you in writing task, both writing task 1 and 2. Please don't do that. But when it comes to I and we, it used to be kind of vague. Also they, by the way, the word they. So what the Ielts examiner advises is that avoid personal pronouns at all. So even I and they should be avoided. If you want to get higher bands, try to avoid those at all costs. But if you're aiming for 6.5 in writing, I assume that's okay, depending on how you write your essay, obviously. So it's not big of a mistake, but if you want to get higher scores, avoid personal pronouns I, you, we, they, he, she, it, at all. Okay? That's how it works. All right, let's take a look. Wait a second. Yeah, now you try dealing with this topic over here. Some people believe that children of all ages should have extra responsibilities. Others believe that outside school children should be free to enjoy their lives. Discuss both views and give your opinion. First, think of your own ideas. Think of your personal experience. Which do you believe that children should have other responsibilities? What would your parents say? Obviously they would say, yes, they should. They need to have other responsibilities. What would your friends say? What would some random people just, outside would say? Or what do you know about this? Maybe you have some general knowledge around this. Maybe you have some general knowledge in psychology, in child psychology. Or maybe, if you have no idea whatsoever, only in that case consult Google, okay, for some academic articles. Just write down something like, should children have extra responsibilities like helping at home and at work, or should they focus on, free to enjoy their lives? Okay, should be free to enjoy their lives. Yeah, this is how you do. Think of ideas and then shorten them into a couple of phrases, and you put them into the structure and write an introduction. Bad example. Oh my God, I hate it. This is a very bad example. In this essay, I will deliberately discuss both opinions and formulate my own opinion, which I will present in the conclusion. Like, nobody cares, okay? This is a very vague sentence that gives us nothing. it just gives us nothing, okay? It doesn't give us your opinion. It doesn't give us your arguments, why you think so, which one do you support. It doesn't give us anything. This sentence can be used in any essay, in any essay topic. It doesn't even talk about the topic itself, right? So at the same time, it doesn't give us anything. Okay. Now to the next videos. I've shown you some good examples. I've shown you bad example. I've shown you the structures, the essential structures that you need. I've given you everything. Just go and write your introduction now, okay? In the next videos, we will talk about body paragraphs and conclusions. So I'll see you later. Bye-bye.